We're back. We're back at the Heart, Mind, Money podcast. So thank you for everybody returning. Thank you for all our new listeners. What's super exciting about this podcast is that we're here to teach people your method of success, Heart, Mind, Money method. In the first podcast that we did, our launch podcast, people got to know you a little bit more. They got to walk away with 2 awesome nuggets on what you attribute your success to, and they were really powerful. And today what we're going to learn about is what houses this mission, what is the company and corporation, this global movement that you're creating called Latina Empire, and how it encompasses this whole heart mind method. So, share with us, what is Latina Empire?
Latina Empire is a revolutionary movement for women around the world, for Latinas and non-Latinas that define themselves as Latinas, right? Women that are flavorful, exciting, successful, triumph, learn from the bad. That's what us Latinos have. And so Latina Empire is formed of 3 very important pillars. Heal your heart, challenge your mind, and then fill your pockets. The reason for that, it comes from my story. There was a time in my life that I was successful and everything was beautiful. Then came financial crises in the turbulence of business. No business has it set on stone that it's going to be successful every quarter or every year. And so when I put my heart behind that, I made my business successful again. And then when I had financially conquered that success, I had lost my heart. I was going through a divorce. I went into a troublesome relationship and I was so empty at my heart. So then within like a 3-year time frame, I had losses, I had successes and gains financially. And in that same 3 years, I could trace back to when I was fulfilled in my heart and then when I had lost my heart. And so I couldn't get it together. And so what I came to find out was that if I was not healed in my heart, it didn't matter how much financial success I had, it was not going to be enough.
And you can say that through experience. So we hear a lot about, people say it doesn't matter how much money you have. If you aren't happy, you're with all the money in the world is just going to make you that much more unhappy. You having a lot of money and being able to, it sounds funny when I say it, but it's actually true. Like, you're a multimillionaire. But you having the money and experiencing being completely fulfilled in your heart, feeling whole, and then losing that part, probably, was that the first time that you felt like empty in your heart?
1000%, yes.
And at that time, you had an epitome of success. You were at a high in wealth.
Again, reaching my financial success, but being heartless, I was extremely empty. And so right before that, I hadn't been extremely financially successful because one of my businesses in healthcare had taken a turn, right? Due to legislation, etc. But I was so committed to my passion of my business that I felt so rich, even though I was asset rich, cash flow poor.
Yeah.
I felt super powerful. Because I was committed in my heart to the passion of my business.
To the purpose
of the business. Yes. And I felt just right. Even though I was cash flow poor, I was super rich because my heart was content. I was fighting for the purpose of my passion for all the right reasons. Some years later, I was financially successful again, but because of my divorce, I had lost my heart. And so then when I was...
When
I lost my heart and I was financially successful again, I felt super dead and dry.
And the reason I can ask you what I'm about to ask you right now is because I've had the opportunity to hear this story and to really ask you deep questions about that. But in the same time that you had lost your heart, you were also fighting this ego war within yourself.
Yes, I lost my heart because of my ego. Little dumb ego.
That gets most people who are suffering from, I don't know, they're angry or they feel like, people around them, they're not smart enough, they're not doing enough, they're always pointing a finger outside of them. That is their ego, right? That's their ego, full-fledged. That's why they're unhappy.
It's good to have an ego when it takes you to the right places.
Explain.
So, ego is equivalent to being prideful, right?
Okay.
So you have to be prideful of your successes, your learning, your resources, your skills. But ego, on the negative side, makes you believe of yourself in a very egocentric way that makes you feel, I did this alone. I deserve this for myself. Nobody likes me. People envy me. That's the ego too. It's just the ego on the other side of the face. So healthy ego is good because you're going to feel proud of yourself. You're going to love yourself. Like, you have to learn to put the horse brace on the ego. That's what I call it.
Huh.
So al ego hay que controlarlo y hay que domarlo como un caballo desatado. Because ego can take you really good one way or really bad another way.
So during this time that you were walking around successful yet empty inside in your heart, how did you go back to the heart, mind, money method that you know got you to your success to begin with, but like fully joyful and also humble, which is very, like, you are really a person that is humble at the same time that you are incredibly ambitious. So humble and ambitious, you rarely find somebody who has both of those things at the same time, and you're that person. But finding yourself very empty and doing some crazy things that I know about, I don't know if you'll ever share, but I know some crazy things that you did during this time that you were trying to like get back there.
Yes, I was trying to find myself. Because I remember what used to make me super happy, but I had stopped doing all those things. So I felt empty and I felt lost. So I thought I could never get back to being that joyful, freeless, careless Perla, a fighter Perla, because I was also embarrassed with myself of the mistakes that I had done. I was ashamed of myself. I was ashamed of myself.
Shame is heavy.
Of the things that I did and how I lost myself.
How did you heal the shame?
You have to forgive yourself. And the way you do that is through healing. And healing, you say, oh, heal. So how do you heal a wound? Mm-hmm. How do you heal it? You open it, you clean it, it burns. It's like fire inside of you. You have to put like
something
peroxide on it. It boils up like the little espuma, the little bubbles, right? Of what has like toxicity. Mm-hmm. And then you have to swipe it clean. And then you close it and you have to heal. And that takes months, right? That's exactly how you have to heal your soul. You have to go in your soul. So you have to go in here because your brain is what has the memory of what hurt you here.
Okay.
You have to go back and live those situations.
So don't compartmentalize it.
No.
Live it, tackle it.
Live it. You go through sessions because there's specific transformational sessions to do the healing of your heart. So you go back in there into your mind through meditations to remember those very difficult episodes, situations that you happened in your life. And you remember how you were, where you were sitting, how you responded, who insulted you, who crashed into you, who abused you, who tormented you. And you get stuck there most of the time because you start feeling embarrassed that you dealt with all of that. And once you start taking off and peeling back the layers of pain, you get to the center of why you went through all that and why you accepted that. And usually 100% of the time you have to accept responsibility for having dealt with that situation. And that's also where people get stuck, because usually human nature always wants to point out the finger at, she did this to me, he did that to me, I was not aware, and it was their fault, and that affected me, I'm the victim. No.
Being a victim is
in order to forgive yourself, you have to accept responsibility. Somewhere, somehow, with what happened, has to come to your responsibility. And once you accept that responsibility, you embrace it. It becomes yours. So what becomes yours, what do you do with it? You protect it. And it's yours. So you've got to take it, good or bad.
Yeah.
And once you take it and you accept if it's good or bad, you have no choice but to get the bad situations and get the good out of them. Because at the end, you have to come to terms with yourself. You're not dealing with anybody else. You're dealing with yourself. So if you have a situation and you accept responsibility, now it's your gift. And when you open it and you're like, ugh, I don't like the gift, you say, wait a minute, what is good from these lessons? Well, if this wouldn't have happened, then I wouldn't have gotten here. And if this wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't have known this. And then I wouldn't have built these abilities and then these skills. And these skills are the person that made me be able to deal with this challenge and be able to conquer this situation. Now all of a sudden, you've turned a very difficult situation into a very beautiful lesson. And when you forgive yourself, that's the gift that you're giving yourself. It's overcoming those difficulties.
So people who have maybe gone through traumatic situations that, you know, maybe there were children when this happened, or maybe it was a situation that was blindsiding them. Like just a very traumatic situation. Does the heart, mind, money method work?
Yes, it works because you have to accept that lesson as a part of you. So if you were a young person that was put in a situation that was perhaps abusive of you and you had no power to control that, then you have to accept that by higher source of power that we know does not want to affect us, but our parents or the people that were protecting us somehow allowed that. And you love these people because they gave you life or they nurtured you to who you are now. Somehow that slipped them, that opened the gateway for you to be affected in a very horrifying situation, right? Like an abuse. Then you have to learn to forgive that person. And what they went through, that crazy enough led them to do this very bad harm to you.
Forgive.
Because if you forgive them, ultimately you're forgiving yourself.
And you're eliminating the shame.
Eliminating the shame as to why this happened to me. So you're turning the victimization into a leadership role. And when you're a leader, you have to go through thick and thin. And you will learn to spread your wings from that forgiving, joyful, peaceful, yet sour situation, right?
Right.
And so when you learn that the past lessons that you lived have all to do with a lesson that is going to leave you skills, you're going to embrace the bad lessons of your life. Some of them you have to accept responsibility, and others you will have to forgive.
So that is a massive lesson I want people to take away with right now, is that it's not about compartmentalizing or pretending it didn't happen. It's about like facing it head on, facing the trauma and the challenge head on, facing the limitations that have been created within yourself head on to start healing your heart. And it takes work, and it takes
a lot of strength,
opening yourself up to relive it.
Correct. 1,000%.
To heal it.
Which is very painful to do. Some people are not ready to do that.
Which is why you created Latina Empire.
That's why I created Latina Empire, because I believe that Latinos in general, especially Latinas, we are at the helm of our success. We are the 5th largest community in the United States with GDP power. We spend close to $4 trillion of the monies that rotate around our country. The resources are there for us to consume. But some of us don't consume them because we don't feel we deserve it. You don't feel you deserve it because you have a limiting belief of a situation that happened to you somewhere along the lines that you don't feel that you're capable of taking that opportunity. And so we all have issues.
Yes.
No matter what brother and sister you come from, no matter what color your skin is, no matter what your culture is, no matter what your nationality, what your political affiliation, or what religion you're with. We all come to live this world of challenges. Because challenges are the gifts that give us the ability to build resources. And those resources make us be the habitat for our skills.
Yeah.
And the skills is what you need to be a resourceful human in any situation that arises.
Yeah. To be the impact.
To be the impact to the world.
Because that's what we're here to do.
We're here to impact the world.
No matter how you were born.
We're here to be abundant self beings of love, joy, and freedom.
Yeah.
Wow. However, to get to that grand prize, you have to go through the ropes and chains of your own life.
Yeah.
You have to undo the ropes that issues created for you,
or generations
and
created.
You have to cut the chains of generational traumas.
Yeah.
Because whatever your ancestors put forth for you when you were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old is not your reality right now. I know that the reality that my grandfather had to catch the horse with the carriage to get transported from one city to another, 40 years later is not my reality. That's my grandfather's reality. But he brought me up when I was 4, 6 years old based on that reality, because that's how he was raised. But it's okay. I have to embrace that. But that's not my reality. So I have to go and cut some of those generational traumas so that I can think with the wings that this world requires of me.
Right. And that we actually are gifted with, but we have to choose it.
Correct.
And so in building Latina Empire, knowing that the only limitation that Latinas are bringing onto ourselves, like this whole thing of and I love this about you, because like you're like, okay, no, we're not going to be in power. We already are. We're here.
We are here.
We're here.
We belong and we matter.
And we matter. The only thing is choose to show up with that.
To show up for yourself with integrity and honesty of who you are, with your story and your roots. You have to show the world who you are with your ugly baggage and the nice baggage.
Yeah.
Period. At the end. Those are the stories and who made you.
Why though, in your opinion, are Latinas especially, why aren't we leaning in to heal?
Because it's so hard. It's not easy to heal. It's like, Gene, I'm going to make you feel better if I cut you in the arm. Are you going to allow me to do that?
Okay, that is so good, because no.
You're not going to allow it.
No.
So imagine that I invite you to heal, and I invite you to relive the episodes that caused you so much pain, so much sorrow, so much disappointment, and so many tears.
Yeah, you don't want to.
We are built to forget about pain. We are built to avoid pain, right?
Right.
So why would people want to heal if we don't want to go and you just want to forget about that pain?
But the crazy thing is, on the other side of that healing,
on the other side of healing the pain is your forgiveness to your own freedom and success. So I am going against all odds that people have ever taught you.
Yeah.
But our own issues, problems of life, and healing them for women should be like burying a child. Think about that.
That's hard.
How do you bury a child? It's painful.
No, we're not supposed to outlive. We're not supposed to outlive our children.
Correct.
Yeah.
But when you're pregnant, it's so joyous. Some pregnancies are a walk in the park, and some pregnancies are
horrible,
very horrible, very painful, and very traumatic. When you're getting contractions, it is extremely painful. It is the most painful thing a human can endure. That's what data says. However, when we deliver this bundle of joy, this little human that is so pure, so sensible, so fragile, people do it again. And you forget about the pain.
Yeah.
Right? Our life lessons should be like that kind of pain. Should be a pain so hard you don't want to relive, but you're going to get to your own joy and freedom that you need to go in and dig them out. You need to go and relive them. You need to go and open them, because now you have the ability to think about the pain, to think about where you were, to assess the characters in that story, to understand the character in each story and why they acted the way they acted based on their environment at that time. Forgive them, accept them, and then now that you've curated all that information, you're going to be left with the resources that now have your skills. Like, this is like a golden set of skills that now you keep for yourself.
Yeah. I mean,
it's powerful.
It is so, so powerful. And it's crazy because I mean, I love this saying that says it's darkest before the dawn. It's darkest before the sun rises.
Yes.
So this is what Latina Empire is trying to create. No, not even trying. It's here. We have Clarity. Clarity is a program that actually digs right into your heart.
Right into your heart.
Talk like about that a little bit.
Like a saw.
Yeah.
So clarity is because we all need clarity.
We do.
You need clarity through your lifetime over and over again, as many times as you need it.
Yep.
Because we're an engine, and sometimes the engine debilitates. Sometimes it's ran over mileage. Sometimes it runs out of fuel. Sometimes it gets it's got to go to the mechanic, right? It gets a little bit sick, etc. That's our soul. Our soul is always around people. It's always around issues. It's always around laughter, joy, pain, etc. And so your soul, you have to take care of it like a machine. Like the way you charge your phone, you've got to power it. And so you have to always be filtering your emotions, because what feeds your soul are emotions. Emotions are the gas to your soul. And so you have to filter where you feed it, which is who you hang around with, what data you consume, what social media you consume, what are you feeding your soul? And then you always have to be with your emotional barometer, checking your emotions. How do you feel at that place? How do you feel with that person? What do you need to modify for yourself? You have to be self-aware.
Modify.
You have to, just the way when you buy a car and you have to put gas, right?
Yeah.
Same thing. You have to be aware of what you're feeding your soul and how you're going to take care of it. And you have to flush it out. Flush out the bad and keep the good. Flush out the bad and keep the good. It's the same thing.
To understand, to have clarity on who you really are and where you want to go.
Correct.
So you aren't going to understand who you are if all you're doing is limiting yourself from your past traumas or challenges has put you in, or even just fundamentally the limitations that you were raised with that you didn't even know is limiting you.
Correct.
That is one of the things that I gained through Clarity. I mean, I'm lucky enough that I get to, build this amazing resource with you as your COO. But the crazy thing is that that first time that I know that you looked over at me and I was like, mocos were coming out.
Crying.
Because I was like going through the thing and I couldn't believe that I had suppressed so much the limitations that my relationship with my mother had given me, because I compartmentalize I'm a champ. I am like, I should get a gold star on how I can compartmentalize life, right? And so facing it though, kind of like opened my heart to be compassionate to the life that she must have lived to mother me in that way. Like it wasn't that she wanted to do anything but love me, but that's the only way she knew how to love me. That freedom changes everything. Like it even though I believe, I'm self-aware and stuff like that, we won't know what's limiting us until we do this work.
Until you study yourself.
And there's so much more out there for you.
And without ego and bias, evaluate you out of the picture. You evaluate, for example, at that time, your mother. And what was her story at that time?
Yeah.
Because you're talking about your story, but what was your mom's story?
And going back, to that is, wow.
You have to go and study. And that's why I say, don't judge in a situation so hard right now. take a step back and evaluate it later, because even a couple days later, when you look back, you're going to be like, it's not all about me. If that person treated me that way, what are they going through right now? How are they feeling right now? What is affecting them? Okay, so then they're going through that and they treated me this way. Okay, so how am I perceiving it? Right? And so when you get to do this method of heart healing, day in and day out, you just become an expert at healing your own emotions, that you do it on automatic.
Yeah.
So when you go home, you're not taking any baggage. You don't have any buildup. You're just like renewing. So you're just building. So the average and the aggregate of your days are joyous and beautiful.
And I don't think people really understand that it's a choice away.
It's how you like to live.
It's a choice away. Like,
you have to choose that. And you have to make it. And the issue is, are you ready to cut your old bad habits? It's as easy as that. Somebody
which
tells
is
me,
painful.
I want to live like that. Cool. Let's look at your habits, and are you ready to change tomorrow? Because you can do this in 10 minutes. You are going to evaluate who are the people that are affecting you, and you're going to chop those relationships, unfortunately, because it's for your own self-love and success, and then you're going to push forward. Are you ready for that?
Yeah. But it's also about like how you're, like, your conversations with yourself and the conversations you're having with the people around you. So if you really want to choose that and you want to cut those, stop speaking with that pointing of a finger. Stop speaking and
take responsibility.
Like, there's a lot of work that goes into it, but there are resources. That is one thing that you're trying to build. You're trying to build, and the beautiful thing about what I've learned with you is, like, I've always known it takes a community. Like, I've always looked for my tribe. I understand that fully. But what I didn't know is that you have to self-evaluate all the time. You know, you have to go in and you have to self-check. And that in doing that is how you actually are showing up for others. Because as an influential person, if you're showing up and you're talking shit about, you know, even yourself, even your mom, even like things in yourself, not talking, they're going away like having that ugly feeling, like you're putting crap out in the world.
Yeah, you can't do that. You have to practice these values when you define them for yourself, for those around you, and then the circles just get bigger.
Yeah.
By the time you know it, the average of your values has spread around all your different circles, that you're literally drama proof, like bulletproof. You don't deal with that. You have a culture. This is your culture. Like, really, culture to me, you know, now thinking about it from the spirituality or the holistic way of life, culture is not, I am from this country with this nationality, this flag, and this is my food. Your culture is your ethics and how you behave and how you believe in things. And what is your mindset? Every company has a culture.
Yep.
So what is your culture? My culture, Perla, I love human beings. I was not made alone. I'm honest. I have integrity. I have self-love and ultimate respect for anything and everything around me.
And you want to teach people how to live like that, because that is a way, like, that resource is there for them to be free, at peace, full of love,
with what makes them happy. It's not what Perla says.
Free, full of love, peace, in what
it's according to them. They're the eye of the beholder. So they have to judge their perspective, their wants and their needs. As long as you know what you want, let's go and tackle that.
Do people know what they want?
No.
I know.
People don't know what they want because they're afraid of what they want.
Why?
Because we were raised to have limitations of that type. Usually second generation born educated Americans, right? Or in other countries, we come from extremely humble beginnings. We come from people of the tierra, you know, laborers, people, braceros, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
My parents used to be immigrants. And so to my grandma, her coming to the U.S. and having her life, that was the best for her that she could do, right? And they would tell their kids, hey, you need to work and have a house, and that's awesome. Then my mother wanted to push it a little bit more, my father, right? And they had businesses. And so usually in around town, it's like, why is she so ambitious? Why does she want more?
Yeah, she should be happy with what she has.
She should be happy with what she has. Yeah,
but you are happy with what you have, and you want more.
I'm extremely happy with what I have, but every time that I go, I'm just conquering new horizons.
Yeah.
And I'm not done.
Conquering new horizons as you're taking people with you.
Yes. And so let's all go together, and this is breaking the limiting beliefs, right?
Reaching for people.
Money is a resource, but it's about how you use it in your purpose. Your purpose as a human being, in my humble opinion, is to conquer yourself and sharing those pearls of wisdom with the world, because that is to help others, and others' pearls of wisdom is going to come and help you. And so this is the barter system of strengths and weaknesses of the world. We used to barter bananas, corn, bread back in the day, right?
Goats,
cows, etc. We need to barter our love, barter our support, and our strengths and weaknesses, and we will be untamed, extremely powerful. And you is you, and me is me.
Yeah.
But what makes me stronger,
championing each other.
What makes me what I am super good at is gonna help and make you better.
Yeah.
And what you're super good at, I need it to be better, because my strengths are your weaknesses, and your strengths are my weaknesses. So together we have a perfect match.
Especially when you're in it, and we are. Well, you do that all the time, and since we've come together, I've experienced that when somebody really wants you to win, and you really want somebody to win, and you show up every day for that, you build something like unstoppable. And those are the things that you want people to learn within Latina Empire. Those are the resources that we have available for our manas, and that you show up. I mean, you do hours upon hours of recordings of courses to help people with just these actionable items that they could do right now.
Yeah.
Not like
it's easy. Life is easy.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to get to the easy part, because your mind is set up with limiting beliefs. We all have limiting beliefs. I'm still working on limiting beliefs that I have.
We're going to work at it all the time.
Are going to be with you day in and day out. But it is your job to identify them, to heal them, to catch them, to cut them from the root, and grow from that.
That's so awesome. So as we close up this chapter of what is Latina Empire, what do you want people to walk away with knowing that's available to them with Latina Empire? Like right now, if you could give them a nugget and say, hey, like if you're in, this is what you're going to walk away with.
Latina Empire is a safe house for women around the world, where you can be vulnerable, where you can talk about your story, heal anything you need to heal, challenge your mind, keep learning, get to your purpose, and fill your pockets. Because when we heal our heart, we get super educated, you fill your pockets, and you make money, and you're super, super happy and abundant and fulfilled with what you have. The ripple effect is that every single person is going to go and share that abundance, and that's going to be another person getting to abundance and another person getting to abundance, and by the time we know it, we could have a happier world. Once you heal your heart, challenge your mind, and fill your pockets, you're going to be complete. But life has to continue. So every single human that is complete is going to go and help another human be complete. And that's how we're going to be bartering endless joy, peace, and freedom. Because we are all made of the same components: blood, veins, skin, heart, mind. It's just a matter of how we perceive this reality and how entangled or disentangled you become in this reality.
So it's really a choice. So anyone listening that wants to be a mana, wants to be a part of this,
join
us. But at the end of the day, there is a little nugget of Latina Empire called the Heart Heart, Mind, Money podcast with you that anyone can listen to, and they're going to get these resources, these little nuggets that you pour your heart into because you want people to win.
I want people to win, and my purpose is to ignite acts of kindness around the world, to spread love, joy, peace, and freedom. Whatever it is to the eye of the beholder, let's get there. It's not what I say, it's what that person says. And whatever it is, it's highly respected, but let's get there. Because the more happy people we are, this is the way you overcome drug abuse, homelessness, depression, suicide, and many more things like crime, imprisonment that are killing our world.
It really is. And clarity in even like a 5-minute span gives you peace of mind. It eliminates anxiety. It helps you get centered and calm in a stressful situation immediately, because life is going to throw out some doozies.
Life is not guaranteed, but what I could guarantee you is the faster you arm yourself with the right skills and you're able to identify and move around the resources, the better equipped you are for anything that life could throw at you in the future, because tomorrow's not guaranteed. And so what I could guarantee is how we're going to have those skills and how we're going to show up.
And I love that. And I am so appreciative that you are throwing everything that you have at this, your heart, your mind, your money, to make this happen for Latinas. So, Perla, as we close this up, share with people where they can find you so that they can ask you questions, advice.
Ask me, bring it on, any advice. You could find me at Reflexiona con Perla at any social media platform, Reflexiona con Perla. You could find me at The Latina Empire. You can send me an email, perla@thelatinaempire.com. I also have my foundation, Love Soldiers Foundation. My primary business is healthcare. And so when you look me up, you'll be able to dig in a little bit about me. And I am an open book. Just move forward.
You guys, literally send her a message. She's going to respond. I promise you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Your
success lies within your hands. Make it work and push it. Do the job.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to Heart, Mind, and Money podcast with Perla, the awesome Perla.
Thank you.
Yes, I want everybody to look into thelatinaempire.com. Look more into what this whole mission is. Also, on all our social medias is at The Latina Empire, And to connect with Perla, who answers every single comment, message. We'll send you a voice message. We'll ask you to send her your WhatsApp. She will answer anything, any problem, any advice. I mean, you're pretty remarkable at that. And you can find Perla on Instagram at Reflexiona
con Perla.
Reflexiona con Perla. But we are all across social media, and Perla is always, every single day, pouring into you through all social platforms at The Latina Empire. And we also have our community at the Mana Lounge that you can find more information at any of the links on any of our social medias. And we would love to have you as one of our manas.
We've got to keep learning.
We got to keep learning. We got to keep healing our heart.
Healing your heart.
Challenging our minds.
Challenging your mind to fill your pockets.
To fill your pockets. Thank you guys for having us.